Continuing coverage now of a mass shooting at a Las Vegas athletic club in the Northwest Valley on Rainbow, just south of Lake Mead Boulevard. One victim shot and killed, 4 others wounded, being treated at UMC. The suspect shot and killed by police. Good evening, everyone. Glad you're with us as our coverage continues. I'm Jim Snyder.
And I'm Latoya Silman. Police telling us that this happened at the Las Vegas Athletic Club around 1:30 this afternoon. That nightmare playing out before unsuspecting gym goers. And News 3's team coverage live from the scene and also UMC Hospital.
Am I on the air?
Our Dana Wagner leads off our team coverage. He is live
Ken?
outside the LVAC as this investigation unfolds. Dana, if you can hear us, what can you tell us about what you know so far from this investigation?
Okay, we're having some communication issues, guys. So I apologize for that. I can't hear you right now, but I can tell you what's going on here at the scene. It's still very active, as you can see. Numerous police vehicles are here. Numerous police officers are on the scene as well. And we have a lot of people who are standing outside of the Las Vegas Athletic Club. We're located here at Rainbow and Vegas Drive, right next to the US 95 freeway. It started around 1:30 this afternoon, and we hear from eyewitnesses that somebody with a long gun came into the Las Vegas Athletic Club and apparently had a long-standing beef with somebody that worked here with the club. He was looking for managers inside and apparently found one. And according to eyewitnesses, he was able to shoot that person. One person was killed, that body's still inside. We don't know the identity of that person. In fact, we don't even know if in fact it was the manager who was shot and killed inside. Then the shooter apparently shot some other people inside the gym. Mass panic, people running away from the scene as quickly as they could, and then the shooter came outside, and minutes after it began, it was over. Metro Police taking defensive positions in the parking lot, and we understand from eyewitnesses, once the shooter raised that long gun, which some are speculating is an AR-15, that's when multiple officers fired shots at him, hitting him. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. So numerous gunshots inside, numerous outside fired by Metro officers. There's not an active shooter. This thing ended in a matter of moments. The area is safe now, but the investigation is ongoing and will last for several more hours on site here as 2 people confirmed dead, others in critical condition at the hospital. Right now, let's toss it over to Tiffany, and I think that you had a chance to talk to some eyewitnesses.
Dana, a lot of emotional people here. We see this area is roped off, and it's going to be for quite some time today. Now, we've been speaking with people out here embracing one another when their loved ones showed up to make sure that they're okay after this horrific experience. This is somewhere they say many people actually come daily or several times a week. They never expected something like this to happen at their gym. Again, a very emotional scene here. We've been speaking with many people. One gym goer who told us that he actually had active shooter training through his former work, and he says he jumped in action to make sure he could get as many people to safety. And that's what this is all about, is this community aspect of thing outside of law enforcement coming here swiftly, as we heard from people. It's people coming together during these difficult times, something you never want in your community. And we've been hearing from people who heard those gunshots. Let's take a listen to one of those gym goers now.
And unless it was one of those, like they do at schools, they go and shoot out. The police was already there, so there was nothing to be afraid. They were looking for someone else. So there was no fear anymore. Mm-hmm. It was like looking at that guy was not a good thing, but no, I wasn't scared. I wasn't scared. I didn't have the time to get scared. It happened so fast.
And that individual that you just heard from there, we also spoke with him. He saw the situation as he was exiting after police had already arrived. A very difficult thing to see as he saw several people who were injured. We're still working to confirm that information at this point. So as we've been hearing right now, a lot of the information we are gathering is from people who were in the gym when this happened. A very sad situation. For now, I'm going to toss it to George Acosta, who's at UMC Hospital, trying to get more information there. George.
Yeah, Tiffany, here behind me over at UMC Trauma Center, we see several Metro Police vehicles just right behind me. But within the last few minutes, we've seen several officers go in and out of the hospital doors. But according to a UMC spokesperson, they told us that at least 4 people have been admitted here to the hospital, and at least one of those people is in critical condition. Now, according to Metro Police, there's also the suspect who was pronounced dead was taken to a local hospital. Now, we do not know if that suspect was also brought here and is part of those individuals, those 4 individuals that were brought here. But again, in addition to that deceased, there was also that other person who was pronounced dead over at the LVAC there on Lake Mead and Rainbow. Now, we're going to continue trying to figure out more details on the victims out here at UMC. Again, 4 people brought out here, 1 still in critical condition. No further details have been released on the identities of those people or their connections to each other from that gym. But we're going to toss it back to you in the studio, and we're going to continue to find out more details out here. We'll make sure to keep you updated on later editions of News 3. But for now, reporting at UMC, George Acosta, News 3.
And George, our thoughts with everyone there at that hospital right now. Every single one of them, someone, somebody. And so we know it's been a horrible day for all of them, and we are definitely thinking of them as they try to get through this.
We may be about to get some fresh information from Metro Police. We're hearing they're planning another briefing for reporters with the latest information around 5:15. So we hope to bring you that live from the scene during this broadcast. But we're also continuing to try to find out more about the victims in this case. We'll also be wondering about the suspect, that person shot and killed by police, sounds like just outside the Las Vegas Athletic Club on Rainbow, just south of Lake Mead, about 1:30 this afternoon. And our thoughts and our prayers go out to the 4 victims who are at UMC right now being treated for gunshot wounds, one of them in critical condition. So we'll continue to keep you updated here on the air, and we've got more coverage coming up. You can check out anytime on news3lv.com.
Right, here's a live look outside of the LVAC. This is off of Rainbow and the 95. We are awaiting word from Metro Police at any moment now. It's expected to come down in a matter of minutes. Them giving us a briefing about the terror that rained down here at this gym on the northwest part of our valley. We do know that there are 4 victims at UMC. One of them is in critical condition, and sadly, Jim, 1 person lost their life today.
Right, that makes it a mass shooting with 5 victims there. The shooter shot and killed by police. And we're looking at some microphone stands here as media awaits another briefing from Metro Police. We were told to expect that in about 5 minutes at 5:15. So we'll look forward to any fresh information that we get from that. Tiffany Lane is down there at the scene. She has been talking with witnesses who were inside the athletic club when the gunfire rang out just about 1:30 this afternoon. And you've been hearing some pretty just harrowing stories of what people went through, Tiffany.
Yeah, it's difficult to hear these stories and not get emotional. A lot of people worry that they were in a situation they never expected to be in at a gym that's normally very peaceful and also very packed, especially at this hour. They're thankful to be alive, and they're giving their wishes to those impacted. A very, very horrific situation here today. We've seen people crying, embracing one another when loved ones showed up to find the loved ones who were here at this time. This scene extremely busy still, but one thing we're noticing is that a lot of the people finally went home to really process what happened here today, those who were inside, but they did have to leave their cars. It is still an active crime scene over there as that investigation continues. And now we're at the moment where we're seeing a lot of people coming up to the gym, whether they were planning to go there, did not hear what happened, and becoming shocked about what they're hearing, or they're just people in the area, because there are a lot of businesses and apartments in this area as well, just trying to understand what happened, and they don't have words. They can't believe what they're hearing today. If we can, let's toss to one of the gym goers right now to hear what their experience was like during this horrific situation.
I thought somebody dropped maybe a 45 or 2 45s, and I was in the middle of doing my set. I heard the loud boom. I looked over, everybody looked over and to the right in that direction, and then when I realized it It was boom, 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 boom right afterward. I jumped off the machine. I kind of squatted down and froze for a minute because I didn't know what was going on. And at that point, I knew it was a shooter, but I didn't know where. And so after I saw my boyfriend run out the door, I quickly followed behind him and ran, and I didn't stop until I got to the very end of the parking lot.
Now, that was just one of the situations. One of the people who were in there, Dana and I have been here. You were actually one of the first on scene. You've been talking to people for several hours now. Describe what they're telling you, because right now what mostly we have is witness testimony.
I think I've talked to 6 people, and I've gotten 6 different stories on exactly what happened. But some of the common themes are number of gunshots, both inside and outside. We believe that most of the gunshots were fired by Metro officers, and the news conference is now about to start. So let's toss it over.
Yeah, we're going to toss it over to that news conference.
With the Internal Oversight and Constitutional Policing Bureau, I'm here to provide you the preliminary details of the officer-involved shooting that occurred earlier this afternoon. At approximately 13:34 hours, we received reports at our LVMPD Communications Center of shots being fired inside of a business at the 1700 block of North Rainbow. Our officers were dispatched and responded to the business. As they began to approach the front of the business to make entry, they encountered a suspect who was armed with a firearm. The suspect attempted to run past our officers, causing them to discharge their firearms, striking the suspect. Our officers immediately took him into custody and provided medical attention. The suspect was transported to UMC Hospital, where he was later pronounced deceased. Through the course of our investigation, we later found a victim who was deceased inside of the business, and 3 victims who were injured and were transported to local hospitals, one of them in critical condition. As I mentioned, these are just the preliminary details that we know so far. Within the next 72 hours, a member of executive staff will provide you with further information. I will now take questions.
Do you know what the response time was? Targeted this specific gym?
The question that he asked is, do we know why this individual targeted this specific business? At this time, we don't know the motive. We are still investigating all of that. We will share that information in our 72-hour brief.
Do you know what the response time was and how many people were in the gym when you guys arrived here?
I'm sorry, can you...
The response time, how long it took you to get here, and how many people were in the gym when you did get here?
She's asking what our response time was and how many people were inside of the business at the time that we arrived. Like I mentioned, it was minutes. I don't have the exact time. That's all being investigated and reviewed, and all of that information will be shared at our 72-hour brief.
We were hearing that the person came in maybe with a long gun, possibly an AR-15. Are you able to confirm what type of weapon and how many rounds were fired?
The question that she's asking is that there's been information that the individual was armed with a long gun. And what else did you say, ma'am?
And we heard that it could have possibly actually been an AR-15.
And that it could have been an AR-15, and she also asked if we knew how many rounds were fired. As I said, this is all very, very preliminary, and the investigation is still being conducted. All of that information, as we learn it, will be provided in the 72-hour media brief.
Was the victim an employee?
And that'll be all the questions that I take for now. Thank you.
Maybe another briefing today?
Right. So the story has changed a little bit, and we were wondering about this. You think about people at the hospital working on gunshot victims. They were reporting through the afternoon that they were treating 4 victims, and that's all they know. And because of privacy laws and whatever, they can't tell us whether one is the suspected gunman or not. But now it looks like that is the case. Of the 4 people that we've been talking about that were brought to UMC with gunshot wounds, one of them was the shooter who died, leaving 3 more being treated, one of them in critical condition.
That's right. Right, and we do know that there's also another person who died because of this tragedy here that is really just rocking everyone who was at this gym where they were just working out. This happened in broad daylight at 1:30 in the afternoon. They're still trying to figure out the motive here, why that person walked in with that long gun, but we did hear that they said that suspect came out with that gun, tried to run past the officers.
Right.
That's when they were able to take that person down.
And we heard from witnesses earlier who said that they are hearing at the scene the gunman came into the club and first addressed the person up front, the receptionist for better lack of a better word, and was asking to see the manager and said something about this is not about you, and was apparently targeting somebody in management for some reason. People are hearing that there was some sort of disagreement with the club going back several days. And just wanted to also mention at the beginning of Tiffany's interview that she brought us, somebody was talking about maybe it was 45s dropping. She was talking about weights like dumbbells, and if you've been in a gym, you know there are all kinds of loud noises when the weights in those machines slam together or somebody does drop a dumbbell or barbell on the floor. So a lot of people thought they didn't know it was gunfire at first.
And then they figured out that it was their worst nightmare. And often in these situations, you're told to run, hide, or fight. A lot of people chose to run. They were able to get out. Some people, of course, visibly shaken up by all of this as they tried to learn more about this senseless shooting that we're hearing about that played out as people were trying to work out in the middle of the day at the LVAC in the northwest part of our valley off of 95 in Rainbow. We'll continue to follow the very latest, and please stick with us as we continue to try to figure out what happened here from the scene and also at the hospital. We'll be right back.
Bill, thank you for that. Now we'll get back to the brand new information on a mass shooting at Las Vegas Athletic Club on North Rainbow, just by Lake Mead, between Vegas and Lake Mead this afternoon. And the newest information is police clarify with us just a few minutes ago that 4 people were shot by the gunman inside the club. 1 of them died. 3 victims were brought to UMC. And 1 of them is in critical condition. The gunman also brought to UMC after being shot by police, and the gunman died as well.
Yeah, and tonight police confirming that gunman ran out of that gym, and they tried to confront this gunman. That person ran past them at some point, but police were able to take that person down. And as you just heard Jim say, that person later died at the hospital. 1 other person also found dead inside the gym, we're told. 3 people now at the hospital, 1 of them fighting for their life at this hour at UMC. People describing these awful moments during the shooting.
One gentleman saw it all. He said the gentleman had a confrontation with the manager.
The assistant manager?
Which I'm finding out is the assistant manager now, what I've been told.
Okay.
Had an argument, he left, then he supposedly returned with an AR-15 or AR-style weapon and started shooting. And so that's his story. He saw it go down. I was told some other people witnessed it all as well.
How many shots were fired according to the people you know?
They said probably like 10, and so I thinking back to the noise, I heard at least 6 to 10.
Who were working out when all of this started playing out, and we did hear from police saying that the person ran out of the gym, tried to run past them, but they were able to get the suspect. And we heard from other people who talked about just being confused at first, not knowing what was going on. Because again, this was just after 1:30 when police got the call for help saying that someone was shooting at this business.
It was pretty busy inside by all accounts. And to that point, while our thoughts and prayers are focused on the people who were shot, 1 of them killed, 3 recovering right now. There are all kinds of victims of the trauma of what happened there, their cars stuck there at the gym with all their keys and phones and wallet and everything in their car. So we've got a lot more to cover through the evening.
We hope that you'll stay with us for News 3 Live at 6.